The latest beta introduces more changes to CSGO's pistols, and their impact could be larger than you might first think. This is thanks to reduced aim punch when not wearing armour. That is, how much your aim jolts about when you're shot. It was always a big reason for buying armour, even for pistol rounds. So now it's less of an issue, then perhaps we'll see more variety to what is bought in the first round. On top of this, the Glock and P250 have changed quite a bit. I'll start with the P250, because it can no longer instantly kill helmeted enemies. This change is a crowd pleaser since it has been favourably compared to the M4 too many times. Let's not forget how it was only good for risky close-range kills, while the M4 rifles are good fully automatic all-rounders. Plus, if it really was better than a rifle, then people would surely just buy a P250 every round instead. Honestly, its combination of low price and high armour penetration was the reason for me buying it in the first place. But it looks like Valve wants its purpose to be changed entirely. Its moving accuracy has been dropped, encouraging you to stand still. The other changes, such as improved base damage, lower armour penetration, higher damage at range, all kind of make it behave like a starting CT pistol, but with a bit more power and quite a lot less accuracy. Its best feature now is that it can one-hit kill unhelmeted enemies up to a range of 2,000 units, which is just a little bit further than the P2000 and USP, and slightly less than the Deagle. The Glock has had all kinds of stats adjusted. In short-range fights, it now deals more damage and is more accurate to fire when on the move. But at range it will now deal less damage. It has had a number of other adjustments to its recovery time, which is how long you have to wait between shots for its accuracy to come back. Sloth Squadron is more experienced with this kind of thing, and has provided some excellent graphs in his analysis that show quite an improvement to the first 7 or so shots, even if you're tapping as fast as you can. The only disappointing change has to be to its crouching stats. It's still worth it for an accurate first shot, but because of how the accuracy is now calculated post-update, spamming the fire button will make it become worse than it was before. In other words, the Glock works best as an agile run-and-gun close-quarters weapon, and although it won't deal much damage at range, you may find that the accuracy improvements outweigh that. Videos such as this one are hard for me. CSGO is always changing, and when I compare these guns to how they were before, I'm doing just that. You'll only find it useful if you knew what they were like prior to the update. So when I say a Glock deals less damage at range, it doesn't mean it's terrible at range, just worse than it was before. Which was actually terrible, so that example does work. And with time, as the game continues to mature, this video's information will become less relevant and useful. So to help with that, here's a conclusion to show where these weapons now sit within CSGO. The Glock has become Glockier. Run and gun like a madman, get up close and personal, and it will serve you well. Its generous ammo capacity and unarmoured damage will put you at a huge advantage on pistol rounds. This update has improved the Glock in all of the ways that you'd want to use it. It remains the poor man's Tech 9, but with better accuracy and much worse armour penetration. But it's poor at range. You may want to consider using another weapon instead for long distance conflicts. Possibly even the P250, which itself is best used at range against unarmoured enemies, even if it isn't a very accurate weapon. Honestly, I'm not even sure if it's worth getting over your starting weapons. CTs already have pistols with most of the P250's strengths. Sure, the P250 is more powerful, but then you sacrifice a lot of accuracy for this privilege. It might actually be of more value to terrorists, if only because it's quite a bit different to their starting Glock weapon. But its run and gun potential is much lower, which is definitely a problem. And with its helmeted one-hit kill ability gone, the cheapest guns with this ability will now be the $500 options, the 5.7 and the Tech 9. And again, don't forget about the aim punch update. It's been a much hated part of CSGO for a long time, jolting your aim and making you miss shots that you otherwise wouldn't have. And although it's still there, it's been greatly reduced. So, all in all, an interesting update that will help change the pistol rounds of every match. The most important rounds of the game, since winning these makes it very likely that you'll win the first 3 of the half. Suddenly you realise that even the smallest of changes to CSGO's weapons can go a very long way.